So, hi everyone. Today we are again in the topic of other substantive audit procedures, and today's subtopic under that heading will be subsequent events. So, subsequent event is also part of other substantive procedures. So, let's understand what's the auditor procedures to audit the substantive events, subsequent events. So subsequent events are the events or the transaction with a material effect on the financial statement which occur subsequent to the balance sheet date but prior to the financial statement are issued. So any event that occurs after the year end date, after the balance sheet date, but audit is completed and reports are issued. So though and those should be the material events like to come under the subsequent events. So there are two types of subsequent events, and the type one is the event which provide the evidence of conditions existing at the balance sheet date that requires the adjustment. So there are certain events or conditions that are existing at the balance sheet date, but the actual event has not happened. And when that event have been happened, the adjustment are required there. So a few of the examples are bankruptcy filing a customer on like 1st may indicate the deteriorating the financial condition existing as on 12th of 31st December. So therefore we need the adjustment on the balance sheet to write off the receivables. So this was just an example, but there are many more scenarios which exist as on the balance sheet date and that needs to be adjusted while before issuing the FS. And the type 2 events are those which do not affect the financial statement as the condition did not exist at the balance sheet date but still may be may need to be disclosed to ensure that the financial statement do not become misleading. So these type 2 events are such which known of the conditions or the transactions were existing at the balance sheet date but came to the attention of the auditor after that while auditing. So these should be disclosed properly in the disclosure so that the financial statement does not become the misleading one. So few of the examples of such events are sale of the bonds or capital stock issued after the year end or purchase of the business after year end, settlement of any litigation. So these are the few examples of such type 2 events. Also, there are timelines for the evaluation of the subsequent events by the management. So, for the public companies, through the date of the financial statement issuance, and for other entities, through the date financial statement are available to be issued. So, there are two timelines for two different criterias. Now, understanding the audit procedures for the subsequent events. So, auditor need to perform after balance sheet date to obtain the evidence regarding the events occurring after balance sheet date through the date of the auditor report. So, auditor should not need to obtain the evidence for those subsequent events. So first auditor can do is the inquiring with the management. So current status of the financial statements, item in accounting based on the preliminary or conclusive data, subsequent substantial contingent liabilities or commitments existing at the balance sheet date or date of the inquiries, significant change in the capital stock. So these are the inquiries that auditor can do for the disclosure for understanding the subsequent events. After that, auditor can inquire with the legal counsel concerning the litigation claims and assessment to the auditor's report date. Auditor can also inspect the minutes of the meeting, interim financial statement for the subsequent period, and post balance sheet transactions like other cutoffs and other transactions to ensure uh, that proper cutoffs has been made. Also, auditor should obtain the management representation letter, which should note that all the subsequent event has been appropriately accrued or disclosed. Also, not all the audit procedures after the balance sheet are performed to such subsequent event. Like we don't send the confirmations of the AR after the balance sheet date, or we don't inspect or AR write-offs after the balance sheet date. So these are not performed as the part of the subsequent audit procedures. Also, the auditor dates the audit report no earlier than the date on which auditor has obtained. sufficient appropriate evidence to report support his opinion. So after this date, auditor is not required to perform any procedures regarding financial statements. However, if subsequently discovered fact becomes known to the auditor after the audit report date, but before the report release date, so auditor should discuss the matters with the management and TCWG. So if management revises the financial statement, then the auditor should perform the audit procedures necessary in the circumstances on the revisions. So auditor should also either dual date report or dual date the auditor's report at of the later date. So dual date report include the additional later date in the auditor's original report. So auditor's responsibility extends to the later date only for the particular subsequent event on the revised financial statement. So example for that is auditor completed fieldwork on 20th February but discovered on the 7th March that a fire destroyed the entity's inventory. So management revises financial statement with a disclosure detailing the 7th March fire, saying giving a note. So if auditor opts for the dual dating, auditor report will be 28th February except for the note that was given which is date on the 7th of March. So dual date report can be given. Also, auditor should request written representation from the management as of the later additional date whether the previous representations are okay, and if management is aware of any subsequent events which would require the adjustment disclosures in the financial statement. Also, for the non-issuers, auditor may dual date if adjustment or disclosures are made to the financial statement after the auditor's original report date, and for issuers, auditor may dual date only if disclosures are made to the financial statement after the original report date. But if the adjustment is made without any disclosure, auditor may simply use the original report date. Also date the auditor's report as of the later date. So auditor should extend the audit procedures for the subsequent events to the new date of the auditor's report on the revised financial statement. So the auditor's responsibility extend to the later date of all the subsequent events on the revised financial statement, and auditor should request the return management representation later as of the later date. And if management does not revise the financial statement in the circumstances when the auditor believes they need to be revised, auditor should modify the opinion. They may express either the qualified gap or adverse opinion. So this was all about the subsequent events. Now we will be discussing another substantive or other substantive other procedures for the omitted procedures, or which has been subsequent discovered later on. So let's discuss this. So omitted procedures are those after the audit report is issued, auditor becomes aware that a necessary audit procedure was omitted. Example, omission identified in a review in the connection with the firm's inspection or monitoring process. So there may be chances that any procedure is omitted and that came to attention during the review or further audits. So here assess the effect of the omitted procedures on the auditor's present ability to support a previously expressed opinion on the financial statement. So what are those effects of the omitted procedure that needs to be assessed properly? So omitted procedure does not always mean that audit was deficient or financial statement are materially misstated. So it does not always qualify for that. Therefore, the auditor needs to assess the effect of the omitted procedure. So they need to assess the effect. Auditor may perform the review of the audit documentation, discussion of the circumstances with the engagement personnel and other within the firm, or re-evaluate the overall audit scope. So depending upon their weightage, auditor may perform the following audit procedures. Also, results of other audit procedures that were performed may tend to compensate for the omitted procedures or make the effect of the omission less significant. And additionally, subsequent audit may provide audit evidence in support of the previously expressed opinion. If auditor concludes that the omitted procedures impairs the auditor's present ability to support the previously expressed opinion on the financial statement, and there are users currently relying or likely to rely on the previously released audit report, Auditors should promptly perform the omitted procedures and alternative procedures to determine whether there is a satisfactory basis for the auditor's previously expressed opinion. Also, if the auditor is unable to perform the audit procedures or alternative procedures, auditor should seek the legal advice or notify the management and TCWG, regulatory agencies, and anyone known to the auditor to be relying on the financial statement. If as a result of the subsequent procedures performance of the omitted procedures or alternative procedures, auditor becomes aware of the fact regarding the financial statement that existed at the report release date, that had they been known to the auditor at the date, auditor may have caused the auditor to revise the auditor's opinion. The auditor should treat it as a subsequent discovery of the fact. So these were the circumstances where auditor should treat as a subsequent discovery of the fact instead of the omitted event. Also, for the subsequent discovery of the fact that becomes known to the auditor after the date of the auditor's report, that had they been known to auditor at that date, may have caused the auditor to revise the auditor's report. So in such case, auditor should discuss the matters with the management and TCWG and determine if financial statement needs revision, and if so, inquire how management intends to address to the matters on the financial statement. So if management revises the FS, auditor should need to perform the audit procedures necessary in the circumstances of the revision, such as if audited financial statement before revision have been made to the third parties, assess if the steps taken by the management are timely and appropriate to ensure that anyone in the receipt of those financial statement is informed of the situation, including that earlier audited financial statements are not to be relied upon. Also, if auditor's opinion on the revised financial statement date differs from the previous opinion, auditor should disclose the following in the emphasis of the matter or other matter of the paragraph in the revised audit report. So, date of the prior report, prior opinion expressed, or the current opinion which differs from the prior opinion, and substantive reason for the difference in the opinion. But if management does not revise a financial statement in the circumstances when the auditor believes they need to revise it, so if audited financial statement has been not been made to available to the third parties, the auditor should notify the management and TCWG not to make audited financial statement to the third party before necessary revisions have been made and a new audit report or the revised financial statement has been provided. And if audited financial statement has been made available to the third parties, auditors should assess whether the steps taken by the management are timely and appropriate to ensure that anyone in the receipt of the audited financial statement is informed of the situation, including the audited financial statement are not being relied upon. So these two steps auditor should be taken in the both the circumstances, once when that is made available to the third parties, and in another circumstance if that is not made available to the third party. And if management does not take the necessary step to ensure that anyone in the receipt of the audited FS is informed of the situation, the auditor should notify the management and TCWG that the auditor will seek to prevent future reliance on the auditor's report. If management or TCWG still do not take the necessary steps, the auditor should seek legal advice, notify the management and TCWG that the auditor's report is not to be relied upon, notify the regulatory agencies having the jurisdiction over the entity that the auditor's report is not to be relied upon, including the request that the agency take whatever steps it may deem appropriate, and notify the anyone known to the auditor to be relying on the FS or that auditor's report is not to be relied upon. So these four steps the auditor should perform if management is not ready to take the necessary steps. Also, like there is a like summary. So if audit the timings are these, and what are the details of the audit procedures the auditor should need to perform. So if our year end is 31st December and audit report is 28th February, then auditor should perform the interim audit procedures from June to October. So here in the interim audit procedures, risk assessment procedure should be performed, test of the controls should be performed, and substantive test should be performed. So after that, after the interim procedures has been done, auditor should come to the cutoffs and in cutoffs, observation of inventory or the cutoff procedure should be performed. After that, year-end procedure should be done, where substantive tests like how much work to be done at the year-end depending on the nature, timing, and event subsequent to the balance sheet date should be done. After that comes the audit report date, which is the last day of the field work, and auditor should ensure that the audit is complete and obtain the management representation letter on the last date of the audit. After that, the report is signed by the audit partner and that is issued to the client. So any event from the date of the report to the report signed, auditor is not responsible but may provide the dual date for any required footnote disclosure that we have recently discussed. And after 10th May, like when the report is signed, any procedures that the auditor realizes to have missed is treated in the line with the omitted procedures that we have recently discussed. Any information discovered by the auditor amounts to the subsequent discovery of the fact. So this was all the summary of the audit procedures and the other substantive audit procedures that auditor should perform from planning till the completion till the date of the signing of the audit report. So this is a summary and this will be really helpful for your exams as well as your practical life when you will land into the job or your personal work. This will really be helpful to bifurcate your hours and bifurcate the work. So I hope you all understood the substantive and other substantive audit procedures. Now in the next chapter we will be discussing further about the audit but having the different topic. And let me know if you have any questions on this in the comment section. I will definitely help you out. So thank you and bye.